you flew in that same area.
Call to order for the General Insurance Committee meeting, Thursday, January 30th, 2025. We'll start with a roll call, please.
Mr. Abshire?
Here.
Mr. Anderpont?
Here.
Mr. Barty?
Here.
Mr. Bowers?
Here.
Ms. Eason has not arrived yet. Mr. Smith?
Here.
Chair Hayes?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. We are here today to receive the report from staff regarding 2025 insurance policy renewals. We'll ask Mr. Bolden to start the fun.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Before I hand over to Laura, I want to take a moment and to thank her and the team for the good news you're about to hear. You know, often, well, actually nowhere these days do you hear the words good news and insurance in the same sentence. But that's exactly what you're going to hear tonight. It's a team effort between finance, risk management, facility management, IT, common media, and several others. But the good news you're going to hear in a minute, which we all think is good news, Mr. Hayes, is because of that hard work. And we really appreciate that. And with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Bolton.
Chair Hayes, as he said, it's a collaborative agreement between a lot, and of course we could not do it without Arthur J. Gallagher and our broker, Butler Bourgeois. One of the things that we want to start with tonight is focusing on the property, because that's the good news, is property insurance. And of course they go out to the markets, and they're the ones who shop for us, and I want him to say a few words about how we did receive this savings, how we got to this point for this great renewal. So I'm going to call up Butler Bourgeois real quick, and then we'll start going over the numbers.
Laura, thank you. I just, when we, 2-3 years ago, you gave approval for the administration for us to go and visit underwriters, because we felt that building that relationship with property underwriters was really going to pay benefits for Calcasieu and your constituents. But in order to prepare for that, a lot of our underwriters deal with data every day. What value do your buildings have? Are they adequately valued? What's the construction? What's the wind load? All of this information. As a result of that, in order to prepare for our meetings, we actually prepared sort of I call it a placemat of information that we speak from about the quality of our buildings and the work that your departments put in on your properties. And I want to say briefly that we probably collected over 5,000 or 6,000 data points on your buildings. With our commitment to visit with underwriters, administration, risk management, and facilities, Dean, Eric, Martin, all pulled together with Laura Bolton and her team to complete all of that data, all of those data points. And as we talk through, hey, where are we in the process, we would say, we just built a statement of values that had, a link to a map, so that if an underwriter wanted to see the courthouse building, they could do that. And Dean said, well, wait a minute, I have one better. We have our own mapping system. Let's connect it to that. So their staff built that out into the statement of values. So as a team effort, we were really prepared for our underwriters. As we walked through, a couple of our meetings involved day-long meetings where we're meeting with 7 or 8 underwriters. And in about a 45-minute span, we're saying they're really the same speech. Talk through how we're prepared for a disaster, what our building codes internally are. As Dean, one of the things Dean mentioned was, we've been building better for years. Administration has allowed us to build greater than code. And matter of fact, most of the facilities that we have are being rebuilt to the wind speeds of Hurricane Laura, 150 miles an hour or greater. Code is maybe 132. And so the incremental cost to do that really resonated with our underwriters. Bless you.
Thank you.
But to get in front of them and talk through it means we really had to be prepared. We had to be on our game. And I do want to say, as a result of that commitment between administration, risk management, and facilities, this year we generated about a 24% decrease in your property premium. And Laura will talk about that. But I think it's important that I want to thank you for your commitment to allowing administration, risk management, and facilities to show what they actually can accomplish as a team. Our underwriters were very complimentary. Just to give you a short scenario of how they operate, they run all of your building information into a computer model, and that is the baseline for their premium. The lower we can get that baseline with data, that's the lower starting point, and that was our main focus. And we have ideas for next year to take it even further, to build relationships with more carriers. More carriers that we have, the more competition. And it was that drive of competition that we were able to accomplish what we did. And so I want to thank you for having the commitment to save your constituents a good amount of money, but it took their hard work to pull it together and deliver for our underwriters. So thank you very much.
So I prepared, you do have handouts in front of you, which is all of the coverages that we are recommending to bind. These coverages run from January 31, so it'll actually be January 31, 2025 to 26. I know the writing's real small though, so I've done a quick PowerPoint that we can go through and kind of blow it up for you. As I said, we're focusing, of course, mostly on the property because that's where the big savings are, that's where the big dollars are always. Nothing changed at all in our limits or in deductibles. Nothing changed at all. We just brought that premium down. So total insured value, you will see that has increased from last year to this year. About $310 million last year, and it's going up to $339 this year. Fluctuates all the time. We actually adjust this monthly, just depending on what's coming on statement of values and what's being removed. The big deal, of course, is the property savings. So as he said, it was a 24.2% reduction if we compare apples to apples, because there is a change in that statement of values, that total insured value from 310 to 339. But looking at it and comparing it across the board from a $1.24 rate last year to a 0.94 rate this year, it gives you an approximate savings of $1,018,000. So it's really a big benefit in doing everything we did in upgrading the roofs and doing the map link points for them. So when they even click on that map link now on our statement of values, they can see the construction materials of the building, the age of the roof, they can see the tie-down system on the roof, the hardening if it exists on the building, which most of the buildings now are being hardened, window-wise, doors, that sort. And that all is reflective in that savings. Now, going down the sheet in front of you, we do have, the property insurance sublimits, sorry. In Laura, we did have sublimits that came with the property insurance. These are kind of additional coverages within the policy. So errors in omission, if you accidentally miss something on your statement of value, we can apply that loss to errors in omission and the carrier will still pay out. Miscellaneous unnamed locations. So in Laura, we used all of these sublimits. We actually maxed most of them out. And then post-Laura, the carriers took that away. That was additional funds that they didn't want to give. So one of the things we were able to now achieve and get back for 2025-26 are these sublimits. And they've given them back to us now at greater amounts. So for example, extra expense was $1 million in Laura, but they've taken that up to $2.5 million. So debris removal, that's a big win for the parish, of course, after a storm at $5 million. And then also a little 100,000 policy there for unscheduled outdoor property. So it's just everything that helps to rebuild this community faster after a disaster. Now, moving down your list, we do have additional asset insurance coverage. So the parish, of course, has autos. We have two levels of equipment, which is your movable equipment, but also your equipment that is within your buildings, such as your HVACs and your boilers. And we have protection and indemnity, which is on the boats that the parish has. So all of these, you will see small adjustments in the premiums. Most of this is due to increases in value. So for example, the autos, we've increased the number of units 4.15. Equipment, that is constantly changing as we buy equipment, sale, that's going to fluctuate every month. But no changes to deductibles or limits on any of this coverage. So it's still the same that we've had in prior years. In addition to just your basic assets and buildings and property, we also carry crime coverage. No change in that pricing because we're in the second year of a third-year rate guarantee right now with them. Maritime, which is your basically kind of like your workers' comp over water. You have to have that because we work on bridges and wharfs and that sort. Minimal increase there. Excess workers' comp, where you're in a second-year rate guarantee on that one. Terrorism, there is an increase of 6.67 on that. There again, that is reflective of the increase in your building values. It's going from that 310 to 339. So you're going to see an increase there. And then medical professional liability, of course, we have to carry that for our clinic and correctional center and juvenile justice. All of those are medical care involved. And you will see a rate increase on your sheet for that, 9.03. And then we participate in the state's patient compensation fund. And there's an increase on that. That is set by the state. There are no changes to deductibles or limits on any of this either. You will notice that we did receive two other premium reductions that are on the sheet. Aviation, a very small, but that is still, it's a great reduction to have on the aviation of 0.74%. Cyber was another one that we were very shocked with. In the marketplace now, the way it is, an 18.44%. That there again, that is very reflective of the work that is being done, IT on that cyber security stance. And we do a lot of paperwork with the carriers every year to try to make sure they know how much is being done to secure the parish's information systems. In addition to the 18.44% decrease, they did also lower our retention or deductible from $250,000 to $50,000. So that's another wonderful win there. You will notice on the sheet that I do have one coverage that is new, and that is pollution. You know, in risk, we're always looking to see, of course, where do we have exposure, and where do we need to kind of fill some gaps and mitigate. And we noticed that pollution is an issue. We weren't covered for that specifically, just in a broad sense. So we did get a quote on that, which I've added. I think it's last on the sheet. This is going to cover all parish property statement of values. So anything that we have property-wise that's covered, it is also going to be listed on this pollution statement of value. It's a $1 million per pollution condition, a $1 million aggregate, and it has a $50,000 self-insured retention or deductible. So we're recommending that for tonight too, to add that coverage to make sure we just go ahead and mitigate and close that exposure. So, any questions on the report?
Gentlemen, any questions at all?
None for me.
And lady, I'm sorry. Sneak in over there. Have you ever, Ms. Bolton, seen a difference in premium like this since you've been working here?
I've been here 23 years and I've not seen this, but
I thought it was a fantasy when I saw the number.
I know.
This doesn't happen.
We are very excited, and one of the things too, if you're interested, we did have a video that was put together by Common Media and us in facilities, and that has gone out across the market to all underwriters. A very good video, just showing our buildings and explaining the hardening process, kind of where we've come from, how we've built up, and where we plan to go in the future. Very good video, so if you're ever interested too, we can send that out.
What do you think would be, oh,
Go ahead. When you do.
don't you want to say something? Finish? You were punching me in the arm.
I was just,
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Mr.
when you're
Hensbrough.
through, no, when you're
Okay.
through.
I didn't see you.
No, when you're through, Mr. Chairman, I just a comment.
Oh, I'm stunned. I'll tell you what, like I said, when I saw the number, this did not happen with the school board, and Joe, you're familiar with that. If you get 10%, you'd be ecstatic with the school board. Well, these folks have gone out and broke back over $1 million. What you gonna do with $1 million, Dan?
So,
Y'all will decide that.
no, Mr. Chairman, what I was, what I was going to say is I would like to see a press release issued on this. I think the public needs to know that, about our facilities, being that this is something that's really unheard of. I think the public would like to know that police jury is doing their job, and you don't hear, I mean, $1 million in savings. But more importantly, the decrease in, cyber. I mean, everybody's with cyber attacks, and here we are, speaks volumes, as Laura said, to our IT department. But hardening of our buildings and being recognized in the industry, that kind of decrease, that's significant news in my view.
Oh, undoubtedly. And to happen only 5 years after the record hurricane came along. Yes, ma'am. Ms.
I just want to congratulate the staff on raising the bar and making Calcasieu Parish look great. It's normally, we don't expect this kind of news, but it reflects a lot of hard work, and I agree with the rest of my colleagues that congratulations are in order, and we're proud of you.
And these guys literally traveled all over the world putting this together, literally all over the world. From Atlanta to London to, who knows, Gaydon, Brobridge, whatever. That's where you guys went.
There's been a lot of meetings.
I bet. Well, congratulations. Well done. Big time. At this time, we recommend that the police jury adopt a resolution approving 2025 insurance policies.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Do we have any other matters requiring discussion and/or action at this time?
Move to adjourn.
Been moved to adjourn. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's adjourn, guys. Very good.